Our next speaker, this is very close to my heart because AmeriPlan stories, when you hear how somebody started here and how they grow and change and learn, I watch people start in the business coming up on the stage very nervous and then watch them deliver an amazing talk. My very first event, I had seen an MVP up on the stage that I wanted to be just like when I grew up. And she's an amazing person, and she sits in the front of the room and she smiles and encourages you and pushes you through when you're talking. Our next speaker has been in this business just under 3 years. And yet every once in a while you meet a rock star in this industry and you think, wow, what are they doing? And you want to get into the head and the heart of that person. If you are on the team of Cathy Caneiro or a guest of Cathy Caneiro, can you stand up? Okay, so this is her group. Now, I want you to, if she's never done anything for you, sit down. If she's never done a solid for you in your business, sit down. Oh, okay, none of them are sitting. You can sit down now. She is one of the most giving leaders this company has. She's an up-and-coming leader, which is even more exciting. She's just shy of $50,000 in residual income in this business. Her team loves her. She loves her team. We're backstage and we're talking about, giving and gifting forward and getting people to this event, and she started to cry backstage. She's got a tender heart. She's got a warm personality, and she has an awful lot to offer you. She's poised, and if you think that she's one of those people that is doing this business and, oh, she can do it, but I can't, I am here to tell you that she built it day by day, piece of business by piece of business, until she found some leaders to work with. She's amazing, but outside of that, she works a full-time job. So if you're sitting here and you don't work a full-time job and you're trying to figure out how you need to get your time, you heard Kathleen talking about her 6 kids and her full-time job. She has the time, she makes the time. It's important to her in building this business. So I would like you guys to cheer her on, because it's scary to share your heart and your story. Being on a panel, you're sharing what you know. When you're here sharing your story, you're delivering information from your heart. So I'd like you to welcome to the stage very warmly my friend, National Sales Director, Cathy Caneiro.
Wow, thank you, Kelly. Thank you so much. Yes, I've been here just a little under 3 years, and everybody says, how are you so successful? What's your secret? My life getting here, as a child, my young adult married life and so forth was not easy. I had a lot of ups and downs, but we managed to get through things and we move on. My dad died when I was 9 years old, and I'm an only child. And I had fears that my mom was going to leave me, and I was going to be all alone. And that was very hard on me. I became very quiet and weak. And yes, I was the child at school that people picked on because I had fears, and I did not want to, just did not want to voice my opinion. I was just afraid all the time. As I grew older, my mom showed me more confidence in myself. My mom had remarried. I had a stepfather and 4 stepbrothers. 2 older, 2 younger. Not the greatest of stepbrothers. 2 of them were constantly in trouble. And it was hard. They looked upon me as their sister, and I did not really want to have anything to deal with them because I feared for my life because they were running with the wrong crowd. I got married at the age of 20. Not very smart, but I did. By 23, I had my first child. As life went on, and I had a very good life. I had my ex-husband was a $200,000 earner. I drove the Lexuses, and I had the Jaguar, and I had the fancy house, and never had to worry about looking at a price tag. I got what I want. I had the housekeeper in the house. I also worked. I had a good job. I was an assistant controller for a penny saver group, an advertising group where my ex-husband worked there as a salesman. Over the course of years, he loved to party. And he went out one night, February 16th, 1990, as I was pregnant with my second child. My life changed. He had a major car accident, and our dear friend was killed in that car. The top of the car was sheared. You all know that from what I can tell you where it was. We did not have an open casket, and I knew that this was going to really change my life. I was afraid that we were going to lose everything, my home, and I did not know how to deal with it. I lost a very good friend. This man was going to be our child's godfather, and he was very bubbly, full of life. When Erica was born, we named her Erica because our dear friend was Edmund, and we named Erica for Edmund. Over time, my ex-husband, who had suffered lots of injuries, became dependent on prescription pills. Becoming dependent on prescription pills, not being able to function. He quit his job because he wanted to do his own business. So I ran along with him, wanted to be there for him, thinking, okay, if you can do this, I'm supporting you. Well, needless to say, we went through well over $300,000 in 401k money. I had to mortgage my home and had nothing. We had a business now that we owed so much money. Never took a penny out of it, but worked. I did not know anything about advertising. I did not know how to go do his ads and so forth, but I did it. While he slept all day long and kept getting worse with his medication. Became very verbal, and then he became very abusive. When my daughter turned to me at the age of 15 and said, "Mommy, I'm moving out, I can't take this anymore," that's when I knew I had to take my 3 children and get out. The next 2 years, I started to work 3 jobs a week, 7 days a week. And I took my kids, I went through the divorce, took 2 years. My mom and I sold my home, my mom and I bought another home, and from that point forward, I raised my children on my own. I had sole custody. And over the course of time, he wanted my son to come live with him. My son would go and visit. My daughters wanted nothing to do with their dad. Although, to this day, I still tell them, did you call your father for his birthday, for Christmas, or Father's Day? I never wanted to keep my children away from their dad, that's their dad. But I knew they saw what I went through and what they went through. It's very hard for a child not to have both parents there. Very hard. And I did my best to do both. When we were in family court, he had taken me to family court because he wanted custody of Joseph. I did not want Joseph near him because now his prescriptions now were becoming more street drugs. I did not want my son near that. Well, needless to say, my son, he did get my son involved, but I thank God that my son, to this day, learned that he had to do the right thing. My son had to go and purchase the stuff for his father, steal the stuff for his father, which I did not know this, but I knew that there was something definitely wrong, even inject him with stuff. No child should ever go through any of that. Well, I fought in family court, cost me tens of thousands of dollars, and I won. But my main thing was I did not want my child around this. My son had to do an on-camera interview. And when the judge sat down and said to my ex-husband, "Mr. Caneiro, In my 13 years of sitting on this bench and doing on-camera interviews with children, this was the most hardest one I had ever dealt with. My heart dropped because I knew my son was coming through a lot. Did not want to tell me because why? His father told him not to. And fear kept my son from telling me. Well, when she turned to me and she said, Miss Caneiro, I know you have a home that you have to take care of. You need to spend a little more time with your children. Your son is calling for you. That's when I knew I had to bring myself home partly or something. Started to look at a lot of different things online, and it wasn't until September of 2012 when I found AmeriPlan. And just to rewind a little bit, back in January of 2010, an amazing man came into my life, George. And we did a lot of great things. And we've tried different home network marketing groups, and nothing compares to what we have here. And I'm so grateful for his support, because if it was not for his support, I would not be standing here. After a couple of months of doing this business, I felt lost. I felt like, what am I doing? I'm placing ads, I'm calling people, no one's calling me back. Oh, this is not gonna work. And he looked at me and he said, you are not a quitter. You are not going to quit this business. We have lots of tools here that's gonna help you grow your garden, and your garden's gonna grow big. As we grow our flowers, and George is into a lot of gardening, it takes time, watering, seeds, fertilizer, to grow those beautiful garden and those flowers that I love so much. And I stuck it. I stuck it out. I said, okay, I'm not going to quit. I'm not a quitter. I had a conversation that very next day with an amazing woman that has brought me to where I am today with her support, Terry Dean. If it wasn't for Terry and for George, there would be no Cathy Caneiro, National Sales Director. I would not be here. But with guidance and support, it changed my business. I plugged into a lot of different things that spoke with Terry about, and in less than a month and a half, I became Regional Sales Director. And from that point forward, confidence grew within me, and I did not stop. And all this time, I was working a full-time job, 10 hours a day. I had no choice. I had to keep paying my bills and the debt that I incurred. Well, today, I am now only working 6 hours a day. I have been able to take away some hours, of course not getting paid for them, but that's okay. The power of residual income is where I'm not going today. When I look at my children today, my daughter is going to be 30 next month. My other daughter just turned 25 last month. And my son is 21. A couple of months back, my son got a job with the New York City MTA as an electrician apprentice. My son was in Catholic high school that I busted my butt to keep him there, but wound up going into Catholic public school. And then he dropped out. Well, today he's went through a trade school, and he said to me when he got his job, Mommy, I want to thank you for believing in me, for keeping a roof over my sister and my head. If it wasn't for you, I may have been in the streets. I'm sorry for all I put you through. He's my little boy, will always be my little boy. And I do this for my family. My family will be part of a financial freedom lifestyle that George and I will have. And I have to thank George for all his love and support for me and for loving our children. I thank you so much. I just want to leave you guys with one piece of advice. Stay strong, work hard, hard work pays off, absolutely. Believe in yourself, and you can be a winner. Everyone can. Thank you.